Are you a thoughtful leader? Maybe you are. Maybe you think you are. Let's find out. I'm Mindy Gibbins-Klein. I'm author of The Thoughtful Leader and host of the Thoughtful Leader podcast. Thoughtful leadership is all about thought leadership that goes above and beyond. Thought leadership that is truly new and original, exciting, disruptive, maybe even groundbreaking. Because let's face it, we need to raise the bar. My guests and I are absolutely obsessed with finding truly original thought leadership, and I'm going to bring you so many exciting ideas and opportunities, things for you to think about, and chances for you to push your thinking that you'll be very glad you tuned in. So thanks so much for checking out Thoughtful Leadership and the Thoughtful Leader podcast. I look forward to connecting with you very, very soon. Welcome to the show. My guest today is the amazing thoughtful leader, Lorraine Thomas. You will not believe what she has done, and you will be inspired. And so I hope you've got your pen and paper to take some notes. Lorraine, welcome.
Hello, Mindy. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we invite thoughtful leaders onto the show, and thoughtful leadership is something that people think they understand, but the goal of the show is to introduce everybody to a wide range of leaders, thought leaders, and truly thoughtful leaders. And you tick all the boxes. So yeah, that's why you're here. So let's jump straight in. I know people can have a look at your bio, and everybody please read all the show notes and connect with her. More on that later. But what would you like to share about your background, Lorraine, and how you got to where you are now?
So the first thing is to say, I didn't know I would be here where I am today. And that's why I believe that everybody almost has a map. That's something that's planned out for them already. There's a roadmap for everyone, but we don't know what it is, you see. And so sometimes we're led down a different road, and that road is actually our path. But because we haven't seen the roadmap, we haven't got the plan in front of us, we may go, no, I wasn't meant to be doing that. And so for me, I was working in the city in law firms, working in marketing and business development. And I loved my job. I loved it. Time is money, all that, power suits, all that stuff. I loved my job, but my dad became ill. So I gave up my job to care for him on £62.50 a week. Now, that's no mean undertaking when you have bills to pay and your everyday life is such that, you can sort of put things in the shopping trolley and not really look at the price. You just go, yeah, I have that every week. So I have that. And I gave up my job, listened to a voice in my head, cared for Dad, and then an opportunity came to hand. An email came into my inbox. I responded to that email, and that's where my property journey started. Who would have thought?
Every time I hear this story, and of course you and I have known each other a little while, I've heard it a few times, every time it gives me goosebumps, and I'm sure the viewers and listeners are feeling the same. They're thinking, wait, what? How? She was doing this, and then she made a decision, and then it was something completely different, and an email landed, and yeah, that is how it happens. You had a plan, or you had goals, presumably you were going in that direction, but at the same time you were open to something new. And I think, when you're in that situation where needs must, that maybe makes you more receptive. So tell us a bit more about what happened in the early days.
So what happened was I responded to the email, went off, started to look for accommodation for these young adults that were looked after by the borough, north, south, east, west. I didn't realise that I actually was quite good at selling into landlords. But the accommodation that we were securing was pretty dire for what they were asking for. So Dolores and I thought that we could do it better. We went off to auction, and that's where it all started. We made every mistake going, so we can truly call ourselves experts now, because we have unleashed everything that you shouldn't do in property. And so now I run this mentoring program that helps to lift others. View from My window is all about lifting others. It's all about thinking about how we can own. And I'm a strong believer that in the UK, you're put into a different box when you're a homeowner to when you're not. And so the idea is that I unleash the possibility of people owning, even young people that would never have dreamt of owning because, they've been brought up in the care system, social care, council housing, that sort of thing. And so now they can dream big. They can have a mentor that can take them on that journey. They can be part of a learn, earn and own program. So they've got a share in what they're actually learning about. And there's a whole realm of possibility that can open up because they actually believe that they can.
That, for me, epitomizes thoughtful leadership, because it didn't just happen. And then when the opportunity presented itself, you had to think about it. I mean, maybe you didn't think that long, but, this is a really, really big undertaking. And also the risk. Yeah, we all make mistakes, but that's only when we take action. People who sit and do nothing and never take a risk and are ultra cautious and, making plans to plan to maybe do something someday, they don't make that many mistakes, but they don't achieve. So well done for doing that. Let's talk about this thoughtful element, because I guess it would have been very easy for you to say, oh, what do I know about property? What do I know about this system, landlords, you owned your own home at that point, did you?
Absolutely, I did. And so, but, I haven't had it easy because I've been through a divorce and then I was left with the house, the bills, the debts, everything. And I managed to pull myself out of it, but I still recognize the value in owning and trying to hold on to it and not lose it. And therefore, actually, I've not talked about this ever before. That's probably why I want others not to lose. I want, first of all, them to get onto the property ladder. And secondly, even in the darkest hour, I don't want people to lose their property, because it is fundamental, that roof over your head. And I'm going to duck and dive a little bit, but I rent to people that do not tick all the boxes. They don't have 6 months rent up front, 3 months rent up front, guarantors. They don't pass the credit check. And people would say, well, why do you do that? Because giving people a chance is absolutely at the heart of what I believe our society should be about. People make mistakes, but there have to be those people who are prepared to give others a second chance, or even a first chance for some of these people, right? I'll pause there. So
yeah, thank you, because I was getting choked up, and I'm sure our viewers and listeners are as well. Giving people a chance, what a radical idea. I mean, the thing is, we think that our modern society, especially in the Western world, we think that it is full of opportunities and people are given a chance. But if you've ever tried to do something big, or even something small, like get yourself a mortgage or a loan or anything risky, you find there's a lot of doors you need to knock on. And, there is an aversion to risk. And especially after the pandemic and after, the situation people have been in, it's uncertain. People and companies and banks are understandably nervous. So this giving people a chance, let's explore that a bit more. I don't know if you are willing to share a story of anybody who, like you say, they didn't tick all the boxes, but you just had a feeling about them and you felt like going above and beyond, to use our phrase, and helping them. Can you tell us a bit more about how that works?
I can. So I have two examples. So first of all, there's a chap from Afghanistan that he came to us and he said, oh, I only want to rent for 3 months. And I thought, oh, it's a bit weird. But it was because it was all about his status. I can't really go into that, but his status in the country. So we said, okay, we don't do rent for 3 months, but we're going to give you a chance. And every time we kind of knocked on the door, went, right, okay, is everything done? Because there were a few bits that needed doing to his apartment. And he wouldn't open the door, or he'd take ages. And eventually, when we did get in, there was always this like extra mat on the kitchen floor. And, you know, we had to go like this, turn a blind eye, because I knew that he probably had 2 or 3 other people that had nowhere to go in with him. So I just straight-laced said, everything all right? We're going to get that sorted. We're going to do that. And just turned a blind eye to it. Now, you may say, well, that's risky, Lorraine. The point is, it's about giving somebody a chance. So you see the clincher here, I gave him a chance and he was able to help another. That's what I call that's more than profit for me, because although I rented it to him and his partner, the key thing is he's given somebody else a chance, and he's trying to do it in a way that's protecting them, protecting me. Sometimes in life, you see something and you let it go through, because he now is working, the wife's working. They open the door immediately now. So that person's been able to move on. You can see that little period of time, he obviously made a difference to somebody else, and I made a difference to him. The other example is with a young lady that had a baby and she had nowhere to go, and we took a couple of £100 off per month off of her rent. She was able to get through. She's now moved on. She's now got a job. That is profit personified.
I love everything about what you're saying. I love the story. It's the pay it forward, giving back or giving forward, I guess, to stick with that. And it takes courage. It takes some thoughtfulness, and it takes some heart. And that's how we operate in my companies. The listeners will know a little bit about me because I share every 5th episode. I share about myself. Yeah. And what I have discovered is if I take a chance or take a risk on somebody, we give a discounted program or special terms or a pro bono service, or, there's a reason. We don't make people jump through hoops and sign loads of forms and all this kind of thing. It's more on gut feel. And so, you and I operate in the same way. And we've had some amazing success stories. This episode is all about you, but you've made me think about the times when I've believed in somebody and they weren't able to pay for a coaching program or their publishing contract, and we've helped out, and it's allowed them to express themselves. It's I do think if people are not used to this, then it's not that they don't want to. Listeners, listen to Lorraine, listen to the next, we're about halfway through. I can't believe it, but listen to the second half with even more intention to see if you can model some of your behavior and what she's doing, because that's how we create change. Listening, making a decision, a thoughtful choice. Perhaps you're not able to do it with an entire home or something like that. No. So there'll be opportunities everywhere. Am I on the right track, Lorraine?
You're 100% on the right track. You see, the thing is, sometimes you have to look. A successful business has a multitude of things. So for me, as soon as I say, I could introduce myself and I could say, hi, I'm Lorraine Thomas. I'm a property developer. But actually I say, I'm Lorraine Thomas. I'm a mentor. I'm a property developer, and I'm a landlord with a social purpose. I'm more purpose than I am property. And the thing is, in the realm, you look at me as a property developer, and for a business to thrive, it needs to be successful. It needs to make a profit. Who wants to deal with a business that's failing? No bank's going to touch you. No one's going to touch you. No one's going to be inspired by you, all of these things. So the arm of our business that does make money is we build ground up, right? So that's made us some money, but also we've made sure that that's with Help to Buy, so it gets a first-time buyer on. So there's always a little bit of a twist to it, but still making money. So we go to auction, we buy, we do art, But we make sure, yes, we make money on it, but we put that money back in to buying something else, buying another to help another. So yes, we're successful and that we do have money, not physical cash, but it's in the people that we're investing in. So I would say make sure that your business is holistic with, yes, it's making a bit of profit, but it's more full of purpose, because that's when the profit shows itself in a different format.
And you can use that profit any way you like. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not set up officially as a social enterprise, are you?
No, I'm not.
So this is the most inspiring thing of all.
Yeah.
Every business can do it. You don't have to create a charity to help people. You don't have to have that kind of, set up where, this is available to all of us business owners. So I'm talking about pro bono and special, deals with clients, helping people who couldn't otherwise do that, get into our community and take advantage. So, but every single person listening to us now and in the future could find ways in which to use some or all of their profits. No, all that's a social enterprise, some of their profits. And wouldn't that be great? Do you have any specific ideas for people listening to us right now? Because I have a feeling I'm not the only one on the edge of my seat.
So I would say just be interested in something, someone, a possibility, something that you want to change. Be interested. Don't always try to be interesting, because if you're interested in something, people will be interested in you. And so once you find something that you're interested in, go for it. Make that your purpose. Make that your mission. Make that the carving that you're going to leave in the ground for when you're not here, for somebody else to walk across. So just think about, what is it that I can do in my business that I'm not just day in, day out? What's the point of having a fat bank account and sitting on a fat bank account, but you make no difference to anybody else's life? I don't get it. How would that be satisfying? Some might say, but, I like my 4 holidays a year and all of this. But actually, what else are you doing in your life that changes something for somebody else? Surely that's why we're here. Tell me if I'm wrong.
You're not wrong, but you're a braver woman than I am, because I am always very careful not to judge. I'll just add something to this very passionate plea that you've made, and I love it, by the way.
Yeah.
I just think that some people have not even thought about it. This is where thoughtful leadership comes in. So, we don't want to blame or judge anybody who just wasn't aware of all this before. So now that you are, listeners, what are you going to do with this information? So now there's no excuse. Before, perhaps, we watch what happens on the media. We listen to these messages, and it's, especially for entrepreneurs and CEOs and founders, it is about the money first, or the shareholders first, which is money. And, the sort of social aspect to it, social responsibility comes, oh yeah, that's nice to have if it's all going well. But to tie these things together, there are so many ways to do it. So I'm really, really inspired listening to you. We do have a few minutes left. So what I would love for you to do is tell us about one of those mistakes you made. Now that we've warmed up, you've made a lot of mistakes in the business, but really think about our community, the people who are hanging on your every word, and, share something that you did that you learned from. So it wasn't a disaster. You're still here after all. Is there something that you're willing to share with everyone?
Yeah. So here's the thing. When it's interesting, because I'm toying with a few ideas, but one of the biggest mistakes I think I made was when I went off to auction. Dad had said, Lorraine, here's some of my pension. I'm really unwell. You gave up your job to care for me. And just on that point, I'm just going to backtrack a little bit. Because when I talk about doing something for somebody else, I was on £62.50. I thought for the rest of my days, I'm a carer. That's it. That's my lot. I didn't know that actually I would go on to help other carers. So even in that being a carer, in some people's world, it's not a very glamorous job. Even in that, I was able to help other carers navigate so that their parents wouldn't lose their homes to look after themselves. And so I really just want to say, even in your darkest hour, when you're on nothing, you can still make a difference. That's what I'm talking about. So I became part of Housewatch Lambeth. I then joined the board. I wanted to help those people to navigate the NHS and CCG so that their parents could get the care that they needed to look after themselves without having to sell their homes. And there is access to it, but it's not widely known. So even in your darkest hour, and when you have nothing, I had nothing, you can still make a difference. I just wanted to say that. And just back to the mistake is when we went off to auction, we put all our money into one property. No. If we had a mentor today, we would have probably bought 4 at that time and spread our money and funded it very differently. Big mistake, but we learned from it and we're able to share that now.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. As you were talking and sharing this story, I was thinking to myself, it doesn't matter if she doesn't get back to the mistake. I mean, this is such valuable information and really, fascinating, inspiring, humbling, and many other adjectives. Speaking of adjectives, there's a word that we use a lot in The Thoughtful Leader, and that is caring. So caring is also a verb, and that is what you were doing. You were caring for your dad, but you're also a caring person. And I think people who connect with us on these podcasts and through my books and just, we attract the thoughtful leaders of this world. Part of being thoughtful is being caring. So, one of my sound bites is you can learn to care. And I mean care, not, looking after someone.
Yeah.
Let's just finish up with your thoughts on that about caring, being a carer. Do you have to be caring to be a carer? Do you have to be a carer to be caring? What are your thoughts?
Gosh, that's interesting. I think you have to have something inside you that says, I know right from wrong. You have to have something inside you that drives you. And you see, this is quite deep. I know that everybody has something within them. And it just takes one person to tell them how fabulous they are, or how amazing they are, or how they can do something, how unstoppable they can be. Somebody said it to you when you were younger, I'm hoping. And it could have been an aunt, an uncle, a neighbor said, one day you're going to be, or one day, I don't know, at some point, I suspect we've all been touched by somebody's kind words. And there comes a point in your life when those words start, something clicks, something happens in your life. And then those words that you were given, I always call it your blessing, then comes out. And it's that blessing that pushes you to do what you do. Because we've all been given some kind of something, a word, call it. And it just takes a moment in time for that word to then transpire into kindness, caringness, thoughtfulness.
What a perfect way to end the episode. I wish we never had to end because you've got a wonderful voice we could listen to all day. And if you all, everybody, want to connect with Lorraine, then you know where to find her. Her information is in the notes and the bio. And there's a lot more where that came from. But even spending this short amount of time together, I feel blessed. I feel you've touched my life and the lives of the listeners and the viewers. We're really, really grateful to you. And we wish you even more success, not only financial, but also financial, because then you can do even more good, fulfilling your purpose of caring. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Thoughtful Leader, and I hope it's inspired you to be more thoughtful as a leader in your business. Please consider subscribing and leaving a review. An important question for you. Do you want to create a culture of thought leadership in your organization? My best-selling book, The Thoughtful Leader, is available now on Amazon and many other sites in paperback, ebook, and audiobook formats. Please visit www.mindygk.com for more great content. That's www.mindygk.com. Speak to you again soon.